BBI must be exposed in this chamber. And Mr. Speaker, the proponents and the preachers and the apostles and bishops of BBI, Mr. Speaker, must take responsibility for the lies they have given to the Republic, that they intended to change the constitution to increase revenue. If, Mr. Speaker, they are giving these people of Kenya not an extra 1 shilling to go to counties, they are saying we will allocate only 370 billion to counties. And this 370 billion is 17% of the revenue raised nationally using auditors of accounts of 2017-2018. Which, Mr. Speaker, if you apply the auditors accounts of this year, even if it's not audited, as BBI was proposing, Mr. Speaker, we are nowhere close to 15%. Ye preachers, Pharisees, Sadducees, Mr. Speaker, who have been lying to the people of Kenya, we want to tell them, come ye out. Mr. Speaker, come out. Come out and own up to your lies and politics of conmanship. And Mr. Speaker, as this chamber, when we reach, and I thank you, Mr. the party leader of Fort Kenya, a man we surely respect, Senator Wetangula, for really capturing this point of 490
There is another point of order.
That 490 billion is not enough.
Kajwang. Yes. Murkomen, take your seat. You look like you want to fly or something.
Mr. Speaker, Senator Murkomen has consistently used the word liars. And members of this House cannot be accused of being liars. So I don't expect he was referring to members of this House. He could have been referring to people who are not here. Is it in order for him to accuse persons who are not here of dishonesty, knowing very well that they have no right to defend themselves?
Mr. Speaker, I am speaking about the Pharisees and Sadducees, Mr. Speaker. I don't know whether Senator Kajwang considers himself one of the Pharisees, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, they know themselves. They are not in this chamber. In a manner of conversation, I have said, anyone who has promised the people of Kenya that we were going to get 35% of national revenue to the counties, Mr. Speaker, lie to the people of Kenya.
Senator Kajwang, what is it?
If, Mr. Speaker...
There's another... Take your seat, Senator Murkomen.
He's making very good arguments, and I really like the line of his argument. But the consistent use of reference to liars, who is that liar? Is it William Ruto? Is it Raila Odinga? Is it Musalia Mudavadi? And Mr. Speaker, if that liar is not in this House, is it in order to accuse persons of lying, of dishonesty, and yet those people are not here and are incapable of defending themselves? What would have been easy for him is not to play around with Pharisees and Sadducees and just withdraw the liar bit. Because if the liars are in this House,
Senator Murkomen,
if the liars are in this House, then he needs to name them and substantiate. And if the liars are not in this House, then, Mr. Speaker, he cannot accuse people who are incapable of defending themselves. Perhaps he means William Ruto, maybe. But even if it was William Ruto, it is still not proper for him to call someone who's not in this House a liar without substantiation.
Mr. Speaker, the liars are... Senator Kajwang is right to suspect himself, Mr. Speaker, in this thing, and to passionately defend those who lie to the people of Kenya, that 35% was going to go to county.
Senator Murkomen.
But the point I'm trying to make, Mr. Speaker...
You use your time well because you have other forums to say these things you are saying.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, so my point, if I don't make any other point, is to say, Mr. Speaker, if this budget policy statement is not going to lead us, and I thank you, Senator Kibiru, Senator Wetangula, Senator Aaron Cheruiyot, and all the other members of the Finance Committee, Senator Mutula Kilonzo and others, who proposed 490 billion, 95 billion. Mr. Speaker, I will be urging them, we improve it to the BBI proponent standards, Mr. Speaker, to move it to 600 billion that will go to counties. And we want President Uhuru Kenyatta to sign it by June next year, that law, so that then we know he is a true believer of this BBI has been talking about. Let him demonstrate. The Bible says, let your actions speak louder than your words. Mr. Speaker, speak using your words. Mr. Speaker, I saw the Speaker of the National Assembly the other day berating and accusing, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, this House and other people who are not in this House about how Mr. Speaker, they frustrated devolution to have a lot of money. Let Speaker of National Assembly and members of National Assembly, particularly those who voted for BBI, there were very few of them who voted no. Let them now demonstrate that when we send their bill here, division of revenue bill here, even if it's 495, let them pass it. Because the greatest impediment for devolution has been the Speaker of the National Assembly. Mr. Speaker, I want to say this. Mr. Speaker, I withdraw. I know where you are going.
Yes,
I know where you are going.
yes.
Mr. Speaker, I should not discuss the Speaker of the National
don't
Assembly.
discuss this.
But Mr. Speaker, the presidential candidates of the DP party, Mr. Speaker, out there, was trying to accuse, Mr. Speaker, this House. This House has been a great defender, Mr. Speaker, of devolution in this House. And we want to tell DP and their presidential candidate, Mr. Speaker, to demonstrate elsewhere where they serve, that, Mr. Speaker, they also believe in devolution, the way we believe in devolution in this Senate.
You just say DP could be being the deputy president.
No, Democratic Party, Mr. Speaker, a very respectable